going on? Isaiah Battle back for another video. Main topic of this video is going to be simple. Just keep going. Resilience. Me, myself, fallen about 1,001 times. I've gotten back up 1,002 times. And I think that's so important, especially along your walk with God or along your walk throughout life. You're going to fall. I think it's just innate within ourselves. We always come up short. And along my path with Christ, so many times I get very judgmental. I was just speaking to my mentor earlier, and he was telling me, he's like, man, you're super hard on yourself, which I completely agree. I am hard on myself. And that's how it should be. But when you fall, you should 100% get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. I think that's what really defines a man and or woman, of who they are, who their character is when life hits them, do they get back up? Do they hit harder? That's what it's about. I made a promise with myself not to seek pleasures and certain things in my life, and I fell short. And this is a little while ago, and I remember being so mad at myself. I remember saying a prayer with rage within me because I was so mad at myself of what I just did, with the sin I committed, and I promised myself I wasn't going to do it, and I did it. I fell short, you know what I mean? And then I remember waking up the next day. This is somewhat recent in the last week. Woke up the next day, and I was just like, you know what? I have a decision. God granted me a decision last night, especially when you're faced with problems. You can either follow Christ or you can follow your flesh. And at that point, I did follow my flesh, and I felt it. I felt it 10 times. I mean, the weight was almost unbearable. I woke up the next day, and I was like, you know what? I have a decision I can make. I can either mourn on how I felt, I can either worry about yesterday, or I can pick myself up today as who I am, and I can come back even better, even stronger. The way I feel days after just experiencing that, of just picking myself up, being confident, and making sure, I think this is the biggest part too, because there's nothing more I get annoyed about within myself, and even watching it, I'm sure other people feel, is people keep tripping over the same rock. They keep tripping over the same thing that keeps setting them back, and they want to get back up. It's like, oh, and they feel bad about themselves, and that is the problem. You keep tripping over the same thing because you don't come back with the energy of like, oh no, I'm going harder. That isn't what is going to stop me, because I'm telling you, if you're on your journey, you're on your road to becoming a better person, that little rock, that little pebble that tripped you up last week, last month, last year, there's a stone 10 times bigger God is going to put in front of you, or the devil's going to put in front of you to see if you're going to turn around, or you're going to trip, or you're going to get back up, you're going to go around it, or you're going to go straight through it with faith. I think that's all that matters, Allow grace. That is the biggest point too. When you trip and you fall and you come up short, you have to realize that we're meant to come up short. I remember Jesus said one of the things on the cross is like, they do not know. I look at that, and so many people get so mad, especially living in the world we live in. It's a very divisive world. There's a lot of separation going on right now. And that's been kind of my big thing, is like, God, for they don't know, and I don't know myself. But then there comes a time where you can no longer use that as an excuse. You got to pick yourself up and come back even better. So if you fall short over the same thing, over the same exact thing, and you pray to God and you ask for forgiveness, check yourself. Be real with yourself. God, is this the devil or is this myself? Am I putting myself in front of you? And that's the biggest thing, as well as the last message to kind of give here, is deny yourself daily. You got to keep going. And keeping pushing forward requires denying yourself daily. Because if you continue to act on your actions, if you continue to act on how you feel, you'll never get down to where you need to be and where you want to be, honestly. So if you feel down, what can you do to pick yourself up? What have you tripped over? Sit down, write it down. What have you tripped over? What has bothered you, and how can I get back up and become even stronger? So thank you for this message. Appreciate you. Stay to the end. I have an Instagram post. This Sunday is going to be my birthday. I'm going to have a newsletter coming out. So we're on the roll. We're going. Thank you for watching. Amen.